What's up, guys? I'm the desk here from the Strong Family Money Show. Thanks for stopping by again. So we all get to a certain point in our lives where we're stuck between two different worlds, right? So we have a family, we have children, we have a wife, a spouse, and responsibilities in that life. And then at some point, we have parents who are aging and getting older, and at some point may need help from you as well. So at some point you're going to be torn between those two different worlds. And so what do you do, right? What do you do? So in this episode, I'm going to show you or tell you what I think should happen so you don't get stuck between those two worlds. I usually upload these by themselves on as parents, and you not have a plan to in your Disney Plus and all that stuff on your computer, right? You can use, and when you're in a caloric deficit, to try to so just to get it right off the bat. So your kids are your primary responsibility, regardless of what happens, who needs what. Your children are your primary responsibility, right? So you chose to have children, right? They're dependent on you, as they should be, because they're children. So whatever you decide to do, it has to be with that in mind, right? Your children are your primary responsibility. And you should do, if it isn't already known, you should do everything in your power to make sure your parents understand that that is the case, that they are your primary responsibility. So in the perfect world, right, your parents will have everything taken care of, right? They'll have house paid off or close to be paid off, right? And my 2 cents is, if you're going to retire, you should have your house paid off already, because you don't want that as an expense in your old age. They should have funeral expenses taken care of and arranged and paid for. They should have so like when they go in the hospital, they should have any instructions already set up, right? Who takes care of what, who's going to be in charge, right? If something happens to me, what happens, right? That should all be taken care of, right? That is the best case scenario, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to take care of end of life things, right? They leave it to the last moment or don't do it at all. And that's unfortunate. But what you should do is you should ask the hard questions, right? As the person who's going to be the default, and we all know who in the family is going to be the default person who's going to have to take care of all this stuff when mom and dad aren't able to, right? You as the default person should go to your parents and say, hey, right, let me see your important records, right? I want to know where all your important records are. I want to know how much you have left to pay on the house. I want to know what your taxes are, right? Anything, like if you were to step in and take charge of what's going on in your parents' home, right? You want to make sure you are going to treat it as if it's your own. And you want to make sure you have all the information you need to do so, right? So anything you can come up with that you would want to know on your own behalf, if it was your house, you want to make sure you have that information in your parents' affairs as well, right? And there may be some dragging of the feet, right? There may be some resistance to do so. Like I said, people don't like to speak of these things. If you're lucky, then there will be it'll be all laid out for you on the kitchen table, right? And you guys can discuss it freely without any issue. But So anyway, that's number one, right? You want to know affairs of the home, right? You want to know what's up, right? You want to know bank accounts. You want to know where the money is, right? Where to move it when something happens, right? So you want to know all this information. And if it requires some sort of documentation beforehand, or if they're, because it is ultimately their money, if they don't feel comfortable with you knowing this information, you want to do something, right, where they feel comfortable giving it to you because they know you're not going to do anything with it other than help them when the time comes. Whatever you got to do to get that taken care of, you want to do it. So house taken care of, right? Okay, so someone goes into the hospital, they're sick, right? You want to make sure who is making all of the decisions. So dad goes in, can mom make all the decisions? Is she going to be in the right mind and make all the decisions, right? You want to get that out on the table as well. And you may have to make this multiple meetings, right? It may be too much to do all at once, right? You definitely don't want to have long spans of time pass between your meetings, but you don't know what their frame of mind is when they speak of these things, so you don't want to overwhelm them, because when that happens, they might clam up and not want to give you any information at all. So what happens when you're in the hospital, right? Do you want to be life support? Do you want to be resuscitated? Do you need DNR, right? These are all tough questions to ask, but it's better to ask them when nothing's going on than to be in the midst of a situation and have to make the tough decisions quickly without giving them as much thought that would make the person who's making the decision comfortable in doing so. Right? If you're the one that's going to be making these decisions, you want to make sure that you've thought about it enough so that you're not happy, but you're okay with the decision that you're making, right? Okay, and then ultimately, if someone passes, what's going to happen, right? So, do you have a will? Is there a trust, right? You want to make sure you know where all this information is beforehand, because you don't want to be scrambling for this stuff in the end, because especially if you have other people involved in this situation, you want to make sure that everybody knows what's on the table, so that the likelihood of someone contesting something is low, because in the situation that you're in when this is happening, someone passes, you don't want that to be additional stress or worry that you have to worry about, right? You want to make sure all that's taken care of as soon as you can, right? As way before it needs to be taken care of. So those are the three things, and I'm sure there's more, but the important ones are financial affairs. It needs to be somewhere easy to get to. Medical instructions, right? What happens when you're in the hospital? Who takes care of what and who's in charge, right? Post life, right? What happens? What documents do I look for? Who's in charge? How is it administered, right? You want to make sure these three things are taken care of before you need them to be taken care of. So all you have to do is act on them and not have to go searching for them or fighting about what is official or unofficial or what was said or wasn't said. It's already done out on paper, and everyone understands what they're supposed to do. So yeah, tough conversation, but at some point everyone's gonna have to have it, and you want to have it over dinner instead of when it's really inconvenient and everyone is emotional, and it has to be done quickly. So go out and make an appointment with your parents, take them out to dinner, or right now bring dinner in, and start having these tough conversations, because they're coming for everyone, and might as well get them out of the way way before you need them. So Andres from the Strong Family Money Show. Click the links below. Find my ebooks on my website. If you are a professional, want to share information that can help families, click the link on my website for an interview intake form. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.